Hey BookTube, it's Charlie from Reader Turned Writer. Today I am sharing how to hook your reader in the first act of your story. The first act is really important because this is where the reader is deciding whether or not they are going to continue reading your book or if they're going to move on to another one. Today I'm talking about the different elements that your story needs in Act 1 to give the right promises to the reader and really hook them in and make them care about your character. I will be using the beats and a lot of the information from Save the Cat Writes a Novel to break these down for you. Act 1 of your story should take up about 25% of your total novel. Act 1 serves a lot of different purposes for your story. One of the first jobs you have as an author is to make your reader care about your character. If your reader doesn't care about your character, then why would they keep reading? Your next job is to really show all throughout Act 1 how much your character needs to change. Your character has a need. This is what they need to learn as they grow as a character throughout their character arc, and this is called the theme of the book. In Act 1, you're really showing how much your character's life really sucks, so that as they go throughout the book and change, their life can get exponentially better as they make the right changes internally. The first beat that you have in your book is your opening image. This is the first scene or first chapter of your book, and it is simply a snapshot of what your character's life is like before you get in there and change their life. Because it is a snapshot, it is an action scene. Your character should be doing something. It's good if your character is not doing a typical wake up, brush their teeth, eat breakfast, get dressed, go to work kind of thing. Sometimes this can work. Like in Hunger Games, Katniss is going about her daily life, and that's what you want. You want them to be going about their normal life. You just want to be showing them doing things. Katniss is hunting, and we're introduced to characters, and there's the tension of the, whatever it's called, the day that they choose who goes into the Hunger Games, and there's a lot of tension there on top of her daily life, as well as her daily life being so different from ours that it's really interesting to read about. Because this is the first thing your reader reads, this is a really good chance to make your reader like your character and set the tone for the rest of the book. Whatever the rest of the book is like, that's what your first scene should be. Is it a funny book? Make your first scene funny. Is it a suspenseful book? Make your first scene have a lot of suspense in it. You're making a lot of promises with this first scene to the reader about what the rest of the book will be like, while also setting up your character's character arc to where the reader can tell that they really need to change. This is a one scene beat. It doesn't need to be all-encompassing. It should show one aspect of your character's life. At the end of the book, there should be a beat that calls back to this first opening image but shows how good the character's life is now at the end of the book. Then we move into the setup. The setup is a continuation of the opening scene. The opening scene shows one aspect of the character's life, and this is your chance to explore what the character's life is like in other aspects, including work, play, and home life. You really want to show how your character's flaw, or what they need to change during their character arc, has affected every aspect of their life. Their work life, their home life, and their play is suffering because they need to make some sort of internal change. This really needs to be played up, so much so that Jessica Brody in Save the Cat Writes a Novel calls this stasis equals death. You can have a stasis equals death moment where the reader and or character realizes that if it stays the same, then things are going to be really bad. Or it can be a simple general feeling that this is a really sucky life. Sometime within the first 5% of your novel, you should have a theme stated. The theme is what your character is supposed to learn throughout the character arc to fix their flaw. Something like trust, confidence, love. The theme stated is simply a character, usually not the main character, stating what the theme is. A really good example is from Pride and Prejudice. Mary, Elizabeth's younger sister, says, "Pride is a very common failing, I believe." Mary is literally telling Elizabeth that she shouldn't be prideful and should lose her prejudice against other prideful people like Mr. Darcy. But of course, Elizabeth doesn't listen. And that is a really big aspect of the theme stated. Some side character tells your main character what they need to do to fix their life, and the main character ignores them. The theme stated is a subtle thing. It's usually one line, maybe a paragraph. It doesn't go on for very long. It is simply a foreshadowing for how your character will later change by the end of the book. You should have at least one other character besides your main character in the first part of the book that really helps illustrate how much they need to change and might even be holding them back from changing. The thing that kicks us out of our Act 1 world happens in Act 1, and it is the catalyst, or sometimes called the inciting incident. Up till now, if you've done your job right, the reader really wants the character to change and knows that they need to change, but people do not change very easily, and so the catalyst is your chance to make a really big change in your main character's life to push them to actually start making some changes. It needs to be really big. The bigger, the better. Often it is something bad. It doesn't have to be. It can be something good, but it's usually something bad because a lot of times people don't actually change unless something bad pushes them to change. The most important part about the catalyst is making it so big that the main character can't easily go back to what they were doing before. This can be a physical change, you know, their family was killed and their house burned down by the bad guys, but it doesn't have to be a physical change. It can be something they learn about themselves. Think Harry Potter, his catalyst is finding out he's a wizard. He would not be able to go back to a normal life with the Dursleys after finding out that information. If you can ask yourself the question, can my hero easily return to their normal life and continue doing what they were doing after this happens, then your catalyst isn't big enough. Once you have created a bad enough catalyst for your character, then your character is going to need a beat to digest this information. A good rule of thumb throughout the book is anytime something big happens, you give your character a beat after that to come to terms with this new big thing that's happening in their life, because that's how we are as humans. We digest information and we have to think about it, mull it over, try and make a decision, plan for things. And that's what your debate scene here does. Often, this is a multi-scene beat where your character is going through their life again. You can incorporate their work, play, and home life, showing them wrestling with the decision on whether or not they are actually going to go into Act 2. Sometimes your character doesn't have to wrestle with the decision. Like in Harry Potter, it's very easy for him to say, yeah, I'm going to leave the Dursleys and go to Harry Potter school. But he still needs a little bit of that time to digest the information, figure out who he is again, figure out if he's going to be good enough, if he's going to make it in this new world, get supplies and plan for what's going to happen next. The debate scene here is just all about getting your main character ready mentally and physically to move into Act 2. That is my breakdown of Act 1. Obviously there's a lot that goes into writing and executing well on these beats, but I feel like these beats are really important for really hooking your reader in as they begin reading your book. Let me know what you think of these in the comments below, and if you have anything to add, I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching my video. I will see you in the next one.